Hello and welcome to MedEvidence Articles, where we encourage community research and education with weekly articles. I'm your host, Benton Loyball, and this week we're talking about one of the three-headed monsters of skin conditions. Beneath the surface of Hidradenitis Suppurativa. Some things are immediately recognized for what they are, like Mozart's musical genius. Other things take a bit longer to properly identify. Counterfeit money, spies, or which remote even turns on the TV. The skin condition Hidradenitis Suppurativa, or HS, also falls into the latter category. As Dr. Michael Bernhardt states on the MedEvidence podcast,
the average person with hidradenitis starts with lesions typically in their teens, and it'll go for 8 to 10 years before that person's diagnosed.
Hidradenitis comes from the ancient Greek root words hydros, meaning sweat, aiden, meaning gland, and itis, indicating an inflammatory disease. Suppurativa is a medical Latin word meaning producing pus. Hidradenitis suppurativa is a chronic, inflammatory skin condition in which the sweat glands and other parts of the hair unit becoming inflamed and release pus, eventually resulting in social problems, pain, wounds, and scarring. Hidradenitis suppurativa usually starts after puberty, peaking in the 20s and falling off by the 50s. Though HS is fairly rare, in the US, the condition disproportionately affects women and African Americans. Those with a family history of HS, those who smoke, and those who are overweight or obese are also at higher risk. Symptoms of HS include fluid-filled, painful wounds that drain pus, emit an odor, and lead to scarring. Symptoms also tend to flare up for a little over a week at a time with increased pain and pus drainage. Wounds tend to localize around creased areas of the skin, including the armpits, under the breasts, and around the groin and anus. The symptoms of hidradenitis suppurativa are as hard to miss as the genius behind Mozart's most famous piece, Requiem in D minor. Unfortunately, HS isn't the only condition that can create skin wounds, leading to common misdiagnosis. Clues that HS is the culprit include wounds in the skin's creases that recur in the same areas for long periods of time and lead to tracts and scarring. Contrary to popular belief, HS is not caused by poor hygiene, infections, or the use of deodorant. Hidradenitis suppurativa originates in the pilosebaceous unit in the folds of our skin. This unit is where the hair grows and contains a hair follicle and an oily sebaceous gland. With HS, inflammatory particles flow into the pilosebaceous unit, causing the sebaceous gland to atrophy and form a keratin plug, which blocks hair or oil from escaping. The trapped oil and other particles build up and eventually rupture, causing pus-filled nodules to form. These nodules trigger an inflammatory feedback loop, causing further inflammation on top of the initial inflammation, which spreads the problem to nearby units. Wounds can also spread under the skin, forming tracts. Scars form as the body tries to limit damage. Lifestyle modifications are the first line of defense against hidradenitis suppurativa. Wearing loose clothing and keeping skin clean can lessen pain, while smoking cessation and weight loss can lower the incidence of HS. Therapies include surgical removal, laser therapy, skin grafting, and topical creams. Traditional systemic treatments for HS have had a difficult time controlling the disease in the past. Antibiotics have been prescribed to attack bacteria that enter open wounds, but the wounds themselves are caused by inflammation, not bacteria. During hidradenitis suppurativa, the immune system struggles to differentiate between danger and healthy tissue. The inflammation pathway includes cells, cytokine signaling molecules, interleukin immune molecules, and other molecules in a complex composition. It has taken scientists decades to identify and classify the key molecules at play in HS, and researchers have only recently been able to create disease-altering medications targeting the inflammation itself. New classes of medications, some of which are currently in clinical trials, target the underlying inflammation to stop the problem at its source. Identifying the molecules responsible for HS has been challenging, but it's easy to recognize that solutions need to be found. Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of MedEvidence Articles. If you'd like to know more, all of our descriptions are linked in the podcast description below. You can also visit our website at medevidence.com. MedEvidence helps answer the question of who can you trust for medical information. The MedEvidence platform provides valuable information about many medical issues and the insights of evidence-based medicine. MedEvidence educates audiences through engaging and entertaining magazines, podcasts, videos, articles, and presentations. We strive to bring together diverse voices of top-level medical professionals, researchers, and experts to provide unique and engaging content that uncovers the truth behind the data. For more great content, including discussions by physicians and subject matter experts, check out the MedEvidence podcast. My name is Benton, and we'll see you next week.